Hi, welcome back again for the last video of today. And this, we're going to talk to the mischief makers to try to help them out to stop making mischiefs. All right. So, in this video, we're going to look at a tweet by one of um, the people they call San. San is like they call them senior advocates, was supposed to be a senior advocate of the Federation. And we're gonna watch this. Let's read his tweet first. We'll read his tweet, and then we'll come and watch the video he was referring to in the tweet, and then we can analyze it and help him to interpret that. So to do that, you're just gonna get out of the way so we can read what he has said. This is the political party saying only their figures were accurate, but other political parties rigged. It is the barefaced lies and audacity with which they carry on their propaganda that is very befuddling. They will soon discover the difference between propaganda and judicial analysis. Right, so let's watch this video and see if there's a point in what he has said, and then we'll come and give our analysis. Or, if you will, we'll do our interpretation. That's what I cannot do. When I was a little boy, I did interpretation a lot. So I think I'm doing that job again now. So let's just play this video and analyze it. All right, so he's gonna repeat just a 30 seconds video. So the song they were singing, that they were saying, when you are going to cast your votes, don't look at the people's faces. Look for where there is mother and child. There is where you will cast your votes. Where they have mother and father, there's where you will vote. Alright, so some people sing where they drew mother and father, others sing where they drew mother and child, or father and child. That's where you cast your vote in. And this was the problem, right? So it seems that they were casting their votes for Labour Party only, because Labour Party is the only party that has this logo for Mama, Papa, and Pekin. So it seems that that is what they were, sensitizing these people, telling them where to cast their votes. They said it is where you have mother and child, that is where you cast your vote. Mother and child, or mother and father, that is where you cast your vote. And this is where this man comes in and says, look, these guys, they claim that only their votes are valid, only the votes cast for them are valid, but they are going ahead to, rig election. Now, the question is, did they rig election? Right? We have to analyze this. Did they rig election? I will show you something quickly. So this is the Labour Party logo. As you can see on the top right hand side corner, Labour Party LP, you have the man, the child, and the woman. And they are saying this is where you cast your vote. So these guys are saying they are, they are showing you to cast your vote for Peter Obi. So they are rigging. Question, are they rigging? So let's go back and look at that voting again, if you will. Alright, I'm going to pause it here. The lady was losing her patience a little bit because the woman wasn't following instruction clearly. But I don't know if you can see this clearly. I'm going to try to zoom it because it is important. I believe that context is key in everything we do in life. I believe strongly that context is key. So let me zoom this thing to you here. You might not see it clearly, but it is written on it specimen. It's written clearly on it specimen. Specimen is not the real. It's a sensitization event that was taking place in the rural communities. They said Labour Party had no structure, but there were many people who dedicated their resources to print phantom or pseudo ballot papers, and they have just so few parties in it. Not all the parties were listed, just a few of them listed, and then they are using that to teach the people where to cast their votes. This is sensitization done by Labour Party volunteers. These are their party volunteers who were sensitizing the people, telling them this is how to cast your vote. You can see there are barely about 5 or so parties there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 6 parties in that specimen. Again, specimen is not the real thing. Specimen is just an example, a temporary stuff. You can see clearly it was a specimen, not the real thing. You can see how short. I'm going to stop the audio from that video so that we can talk. So the specimen was just to give an example, to educate the people, to show them on the election day, don't thumb across the line, don't thumb on top of the line. You can use any of these fingers, and here is how to vote. This was organized by Labour Party volunteers. See how short the pseudo ballot paper, if you will, is. See how short that specimen is. It's a very short piece of paper. It's wider than the ballot paper, and it's also shorter than the ballot paper. And on the right hand side of it was written specimen, right? It was written clearly specimen. The reason was for a day like this, when people who should know will come around and say, look, they rigged. So people can point them to it and say, look, this is no rigging, this is specimen. For people like us, the interpreters like us, to come out and say to them, look, this is just a specimen used to teach the people how to vote. And someone was saying, why are they teaching them how to vote only for Labour Party? This is their party agents sensitizing the village people. Send your party agents to sensitize your own rural women, rural community. Most of them are rural women. They are being sensitized on how to vote. None of them is being sensitized on how to rig or how to take the ballot paper and run. No, they were instead being sensitized on how to vote properly. You can see there's no beavers there. There was no accreditation. They were telling them you have to come with your PVCs, hold it on your left hand, and then you do your voting. You can see they're not putting an ink on their fingers because this is not voting. It was clearly written specimen. I am disappointed and discouraged that a senior advocate of the country, couldn't do the lowest level of investigation. The lowest level of investigation. The lowest hanging fruit for any investigation is to look at what is right in front of you. That is the basic minimum level. I remember when I used to teach classes on debugging, on finding problems, I teach the people the first thing you do is to look at what is right in front of you. That's the first level of any investigation. You don't need to scratch the surface. You don't need to do anything. Look at what is right there before you. Then you scratch the surface. If someone runs to the court with a knife dripping with blood and their shirt full of blood, and he tells and runs to you, and you're a son, and you say, what happened? You say, somebody has been killed, and you ask them, who killed the person? You say, I don't know. Why are you with the knife? No, I'm not with a knife. And you're looking at him. There's a knife in his hand, dripping with blood. And he just told you someone has been stabbed to death. And he has his shirt bloody. He has a knife. He has right there. The evidence is right before you. And you leave it and you start looking elsewhere. What kind of investigator are you? Right in front of us here is a document that is wider than the ballot paper, so it cannot be the ballot paper. That's one evidence right there. Shorter than the ballot paper, so it cannot be the ballot paper. Number two, right on the right hand side was stamped specimen, so it cannot be the ballot paper. So there are three things right there in front of you that tells you this cannot be the ballot paper. Number four, there's no beaver, so this cannot be the election. Number five, they're not voting in secret, they're all coming straight, and there's a videoing them showing what they are doing to show you that this is sensitization, teaching the people what to do. And they're even singing in chorus. There was no accreditation. You know, really, this is not election. But somebody who is a senior advocate, I am really short of words. I hope that nobody hires people like that to represent them, because you will lose you. If you imagine standing before a judge and your lawyer, who is a senior advocate of wherever country the person is standing before the lawyer and accusing an opponent for rigging an election, and the evidence they present is a specimen, a training video. They present a training video and say this training video shows that a crime was committed. Imagine the shame that the lawyer, the judge will feel for the colleague, the learned colleague. If I was the judge, I would summon the counsel, the prosecuting counsel, and the defense counsel to the bench, and I'll ask them quietly, where did you get your license? Which school gave you your license? And I will go and I will write the school and say, can you write this guy to come back for a refresher to actually learn? Maybe not to take away the license because it will look somehow, but to actually learn. I remember when I was my last day of school, my professor said to me, bless his memory, he said to me, from time to time, try to take a refresher. Try to take a refresher because now you are an ambassador for this school. From time to time, try to take a refresher so that you stay current, because information is changing all the time. So try to take a refresher, try to remain current, try to remain relevant, because you are an ambassador for this school. I could never forget that. So from time to time, I get myself updated with AIs and artificial intelligence and chat GPTs and all these new technologies, because I am an ambassador of an institution and I go to the highest level that I could go. And I have to keep myself refreshed. So if I was the judge, I will call this son. Any judge that comes across this, if you have this son's number, please call him and say, please, don't be quick on the Twitter. Don't be quick on social media. You don't have to tweet. You don't have to tweet. Ask someone to read it for you and tell you if it makes sense in 2023 to present a specimen as an evidence for rigging. This is inadmissible in court. I am not a lawyer, but I can tell you this is inadmissible. In fact, the judge will look at you and even charge you for wasting the time of the court. You sue someone for rigging and they ask you for evidence and you bring a specimen from a training video to local women. There's no INEC official in that place. There's no counting. Clearly, the paper is wider, the paper is shorter, the paper has specimen written on it, and you just jump. Guy, take it easy. Take it easy. Stop making mischief. I know that in politics, people have different camps, people have different interests. I understand that. But the election is over. Your candidate has been selected by INEC. Just relax, rest. If you have evidence, package it for court. The person you are supposed to be the selected one by INEC. You should be calm and keep your evidence for court. Apparently, you want to drag the social media with the rest of us. And you are just embarrassing the profession. I feel embarrassed for the profession, to be frank. I feel embarrassed. And I'm wondering if these things that we know clearly, you guys interpret it this way, how about the things we don't know? How about matters of the Constitution? How would you interpret Section 134? How would you interpret that if you can't interpret this one? My kids, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, they will look at this and say, this is not the same. If you have any kid, maybe even 2-year-old, and give them two pictures, one of them is short, one of them is long, and tell them, are they the same? They will tell you they're not the same. Take two pictures, take two papers, one narrow, one wide, give it to any kid that can talk, maybe 2-year-old, and say, are they the same? They will say, no, they are not the same. Take two papers, stamp red ink on one, and don't stamp anything on the other one. And in the one that has red ink, write on it specimen. Show the kid and say, are they the same? They will say, no, they are not the same. Any kid can decipher this low-level thing. I'm really embarrassed, to be frank. Seriously, I'm embarrassed. If you're my brother, if I have your number, I'll call you and ask you to, even if you're going to tweet against me, I will still give you advice to tweet something good against me, not something that will embarrass you that is tweeting it against me. Like, do your research and then tweet. You look at that, before you click send, you look at it and say, oh, my bad. This one is specimen. You delete it because I know you want to get at your opponent. I know that. But if it's going to hurt you, if you're going to shoot yourself on the foot, don't do that. I'm saying this not because I support you. I'm saying this because you're a son. You're supposed to be a son, a senior advocate of the country. You're supposed to be that. So you're an ambassador of some sort of the legal profession, but you are not representing them. Guy, relax. Cool down, man. Uncle, relax. Cool down. Big uncle. You've been fortunate to be selected and appointed to represent the country in some high level. I mean, Minister of State, that's something, some high stuff. Other countries will be looking. I think in other countries they might call you internal secretary or something like that. It will just look somehow that our secretaries and our representatives are trying to show that they don't know what they're doing. This is trying hard. This is trying so hard to show that you don't know what you're doing. That's what you're doing. You're trying so hard to tell the world that you don't know what you're doing. And we are trying hard to make you not to embarrass yourself. And that's why I'm making this video. It's not to insult you or anything. You can see I don't insult anybody in my videos, but I just want you to represent your profession properly. When two people go to court, one is going to win, one is going to lose. It is normal. But don't embarrass the whole country on your side. Defend your facts, defend your evidence. I defend my facts, I defend my evidence, and one person will win. When I was in primary school, I was representing my school in debates. Long live Viva Valley Primary School, Enugu. I was representing my school in debates. And sometimes we won, sometimes we lost. And those people that we debated against, they were friends. One of them, I remember him all the time, Ifeanyi, from the college primary school. Ifeanyi is my very good friend, but we always face ourselves in debates. And sometimes we win, and sometimes we lose. And we're friends. We met again at the university. Actually, we met again at the secondary school, and then again at the university. You win, you lose, and you're friends. But when you stand to debate for your school, you're an ambassador for that school. You present your facts clearly. No personal attacks, just on issues. And somebody will win and somebody will lose. They taught us that in primary school. Primary school. All right, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you're thinking in the comment section. And again, we might not come back on air for some time. That's why we did 3 long videos today. So enjoy those, share them, comment. And I want to thank those that have subscribed already. I thank you so much. It's been a great journey with you all, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.